breaking news of Tyson Fury father John Fury, who came out stating that Tyson Fury will pull out of the Deontay Wilder trilogy for the fourth time. This time around, Tyson Fury is going to cancel the fight because of his daughter health issues.
But let me tell you this much. Nobody could expect a boxing match to go on in times like this. You know, because family's family, business is business, sport's sport. But when it comes down to family, they're the first and foremost at the front of the queue. And without family, you can't function right. You know, so your family's got to be intact. Because if you're an happy family man, you know things are right at home, you're going to perform right yourself. You know, I'm his dad, he's here now. I don't care what those people say and what they don't say. If problems persist, we will cancel a fight. I'll cancel a fight because nobody would expect it, you know, to people to perform under these duress circumstances. So we know what we're doing. He's not in the devil's playground now, he's at home where I can see what he's doing. It's about winning and staying on top. And I don't care. If he fights Wilder next year and never fights him, timing's got to be right. Timing is everything. You know, but let me tell you, like I said to you the other night, you go back to America half-cocked and your belt stays there. And Deontay Wilder's still the most dangerous heavyweight out there. You've got to give him respect. I hate him as a man. He's not a man, in fact. He's a piece of rubbish. But that piece of rubbish can fight. And he can punch. You know, so we've got to get it right.
Now, just to make one thing clear, Tyson Fury's daughter is better now and no longer in critical condition. May Allah keep her nice and safe. Now, when it comes to Tyson Fury's father, John Fury, stating that Tyson Fury will cancel the fight because of that reason is mind-blowing, because that should be more of a reason for Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder so he can provide for his family and his daughter. If anything, Tyson Fury should use that as motivation to fight Deontay Wilder, AJ, and all of the upcomers in order to provide for his family, who may need the extra bread to maintain. In fact, this is the ultimate motivation. Remember Buster Douglas? Do you guys know he pulled the biggest upset in the history of the sport by beating the undefeated Iron Mike Tyson, where he was 50-1 underdog? Buster Douglas attributes that to the motivation he gained when his mom passed away. That's right. When Buster Douglas' mother passed away, he didn't pull out of the fight to cry and complain. He used that as motivation, as fuel, to beat Mike Tyson. Therefore, why isn't Tyson Fury doing the same? Instead, he wants to sit home and become a babysitter. Well, I know Deontay Wilder wished he had that luxury when his daughter was born. Do you guys know Deontay Wilder got into the sport of boxing because of the health condition of his daughter, where he started boxing at 21 years old, at a very late age, because he was forced to provide for his daughter since his 9-to-5 job wasn't gonna cut it. Talk about starting from the bottom. Deontay Wilder started from the mud. You even have Luis Ortiz, who did the same. And that's why Deontay Wilder fought him twice, so he can provide for his daughter that had health conditions as well. But when it comes to Tyson Fury, instead of using that as fuel, now he want to use his daughter as an excuse to not fight Deontay Wilder and provide for her. You know how much of a lowlife you have to be to use your daughter as an escape route to avoid a fight you've been running from for 2 years till this day. Tyson Fury have broken his limit time and time again when it comes to that, more than Goku broke his limit when it came to the power scale. I told you guys, after Tyson Fury pulled Cap 19, where he got busted being at the casinos and at the bars drinking, few days after he tested positive for COVID, the million-dollar question was, will Tyson Fury be a no-show? Or will he show up on October 9th? And if he doesn't show up, will it go from COVID gate to depression gate? What will the new excuse be for Tyson Fury not finding his cojones before October 9th? And now here it is. 2 months before the fight, Tyson Fury's father is already hinting at what their next live is going to be. Remember, Tyson Fury told the public a week before the fight that he was going to catch COVID.
What goes through the mind now in the last couple of weeks, through your mind and your body?
My most important thing is to get to the fight injury-free, not to get some stupid cut in sparring or injury at the last minute, or catch COVID even, or whatever there is. Whatever there is, the danger's out there, or catch COVID even.
Then he actually caught COVID. I told you guys on more than one occasion, Tyson Fury without cheating is equivalence of a bum. I mean, he can't hurt a fly without his tampered gloves, and his boxing skills are average at best. Tyson Fury without cheating is like a man without his cojones. And John Fury know this. So ever since Tyson Fury's method of cheating got exposed, and now they have to fight Deontay Wilder on an even playing field, to John Fury, this is a suicide mission. You can clearly hear that in his voice throughout this interview. This man is terrified, and he's clearly afraid that Deontay Wilder may catch a body come October 9th. Therefore, when all of you Tyson Fury fans, aka the Deontay Wilder haters, when you guys say Deontay Wilder has no skills, he can't fight, Tyson Fury is gonna knock him out even quicker, what's so ironic is that you guys are just hiding behind the keyboard typing all of these words. You guys are not the ones fighting come October 9th. Tyson Fury is. And Tyson Fury said Deontay Wilder is the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. And who you also hear co-sign that? His father. More importantly, you also hear John Fury say Deontay Wilder can fight. He didn't just say he only has power. No, he said he can fight. So you know what that means. He's impressed by Deontay Wilder's skills. He even praised Deontay Wilder mid-work that he been seeing on social media. So all of you decafs can say the mitts don't hit back. But that's not what Tyson Fury and John Fury are saying. In fact, John Fury alluded to the belt of Tyson Fury staying in America if Tyson Fury goes on with this fight. So he already admitting defeat. He said that his son is not moving his head. He fighting like the crunk style, so he coming in a straight line, so on and so forth. So Wilder may walk him into something. This is what John Fury was saying. I even got confused for a second. I didn't know if John Fury was Tyson Fury's father or Deontay Wilder promoter, the way he was praising Deontay Wilder, which confirms the rumors even further that Tyson Fury have been getting beat up in sparring. See, Tyson Fury can't deal with the guilt that he cheated Deontay Wilder and now he has to face Deontay Wilder on an even playing field. That is mentally ripping him apart. And come October 9th, Deontay Wilder will send Tyson Fury back to the UK in blood. That's if Tyson Fury finds his cojones somewhere before then. And last but not least, for John Fury to claim that the USA is showing Deontay Wilder favoritism and they want Deontay to win, that's absolutely laughable. Tyson Fury is more loved in the USA than in the UK. Majority of the fans and all of old media defended Tyson Fury blind for cheating Deontay Wilder in his own home soil. But we know when it comes to the USA where the roots leads to. To this day, we know what time it is. That's why John Fury is so delusional and so out of his mind to claim that the USA is showing Deontay Wilder favoritism because he won the arbitration case. Why we gotta fight Deontay Wilder? Why we can't just fight AJ? I'll tell you why. Because Deontay Wilder had a rematch clause that Tyson Fury did not honor. Tyson Fury could have fought Deontay Wilder last year. But because he's afraid for his life after cheating, he went out of his way to duck the trilogy, to no prevail. Due to the obvious reason, Deontay Wilder had a rematch clause that's bonding Tyson Fury by law. That's not favoritism. That's how the law works. See, Tyson Fury Hope Insurance doesn't work in the court of law like it does in the sport of boxing, with old media who's willing to throw their integrity and credibility out of the window to defend the cheater of the century, Tyson Fury, since he has the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection, which makes what Jean Fury said highly offensive, because we all know Tyson Fury has the complexion for the protection. Meanwhile, Deontay Wilder has the complexion for the neglection in the USA. With the facts being laid out, Deontay Wilder needs to continue to train with the same intensity and focus as if Tyson Fury will be there October 9th. Because if he does or doesn't, is a win-win situation for Wilder, even though we want Tyson Fury back in blood. If the cheater of the century retires instead of fighting Wilder, that's really mercy for him. And he don't deserve any mercy at this moment in time. Nevertheless, Tyson Fury retiring from the sport of boxing will prove that he's the biggest cheater of the century. That will put a stamp on him. And for Jean Fury, who continues to complain by making excuses ahead of time, instead of complaining about all of the yes men, Tyson Fury's style of training, so on and so forth, why isn't Jean Fury training Tyson Fury instead? I mean, he is next to him in the UK. He is next to him every day. With that being said, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to leave the link for the full interview in the description box below. So instead of quoting Jean Fury, since he had so much to say, here is exactly what he had to say.
This fight is happening on October the 9th, having been delayed 2 or 3 times now. Is your feeling that it is going to go ahead now as planned?
As long as the baby comes out of this all okay and things go normally, yes. But let me tell you this much. Nobody could expect a boxing match to go on in times like this. Because family's family, business is business, sport. But when it comes down to family, they're the first and foremost at the front of the queue. And without family, you can't function right. So your family's got to be intact. Because if you're an happy family man, things are right at home, you're going to perform right yourself. I'm his dad, he's here now. I don't care what those people say and what they don't say. If problems persist, we will cancel a fight. I'll cancel a fight because nobody would expect it, to people to perform under these duress circumstances. So we know what we're doing. We want to fight Wilder, and hopefully he gets his daughter back home, everything runs smoothly. We start camp, I think, on the 14th or 15th, and let's just see where we go. But if it's not right, it's not right. And I'm not like those people in America who will force the issue, because I don't care about nobody. When it comes down to my children and my grandkids and stuff like that, immediate blood kin, they come first. I said to him last night, it's only a boxing match. Let people wait. You go when you're ready, not when they go. They work for you, not the other way around. You're the best in the world. You're the champion. We want to keep winning. We don't want to make any mistakes. And we don't want to start training under duress stress. It can't be done. I wouldn't allow it anyways. His dad wouldn't allow it. And he's in England now. He's not in the devil's playground now. He's at home where I can see what he's doing. But I've just got to chip away at Tyson. Because over the last few years, I have a lot of people blowing smoke up his backside, saying he's this, saying he's that. You see, people are not going to tell you the truth because they're frightened of being sacked. They're going to say, Tyson, you're doing wrong. You're doing this, you're doing that. Because they want to keep the job. And them kind of people, they won't keep a champion on top because they're worried about their own ends. But you can't blame them. It's not the son, it's not the brother, it's not a blood kin, it's not a family relative. So they're just thinking of the money. Money don't come into it with me. It's about winning and staying on top. And I don't care. If he fights Wilder next year, or he never fights him, timing's got to be right. Timing is everything, But the only problem is inactivity. If Tyson had been active, he could have fought Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder on the same night. But circumstances, the world, COVID-19, stuff like that, we can't help the way the dice fall, can we? So we've just got to carry on, put our best foot forward and go when we're ready. And believe me, we'll do, and not before. If I didn't do it anyway. But who knows? They might get in his head. Kidology, get him back in America. But let me tell you, like I said to him the other night, you go back to America half-cocked and your belt stays there. And that's the truth, because I'm a realist. You don't do it right, the belt's staying in America. I know he flattened him last time, he busted him last time. Let me tell you, without proper preparation and your mindset, anything can go wrong. And Deontay Wilder's still the most dangerous heavyweight out there. You've got to give him respect. I hate him as a man. He's not a man, in fact. He's a piece of rubbish. But that piece of rubbish can fight. And he can punch. You know, so we've got to get it right. And if it's down to me, it will be right.
And if and when the fight does go ahead, how do you expect it to go if Tyson is fully on his game? And do you expect the AJ fight to follow afterwards?
I think if he's on his A game, we get everything right, tick all the boxes, it'll be over within 5 rounds. It'll be a quicker job than last time. AJ, we should get him straight after. I'm not interested in anything. I wasn't even interested in Deontay Wilder. I'm still not interested in Wilder. But he's cropped up, he's a bump in the road, we've got to get through him. And he's not going to go away because the powers that be in America have said that he's entitled to the 3rd fight, which is absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. It's all mind games and politics again. So what we do, get him bumped off. We're on the AJ trail then, Anthony Joshua trail, and we're not going to come off it till we've got him. But he's got a sticky wicket to do on all.
Yeah,
AJ. That's not a foregone conclusion. You know, I tip AJ because he's big, strong, he's got a good boxing array. You know, and apart from Tyson, he's the best heavyweight. He is the 2nd best heavyweight in the world, I think. You know, it'd be a toss-up between him and Wilder. Because if Wilder landed on him, it would be a good night for him, he wouldn't recover. But he's the one with the belts, so you got to say he's the 2nd best, you know, and that's the fight we're looking at. We've just got to get rid of this American problem. And it's a problem because he's out there, he's not under the watchful eye, he's around all his yes men when he gets out there. Because when he gets off the plane in Las Vegas, you've got 200 yes men waiting for him, looking to get that from him, you know, because he's the Pied Piper, isn't he? You know, that's what he does. You know, people follow him around just to get what he can. Yes, Tyson, you're this, you're that, you're the best in the world, we love you. This kid's heard it all before in my life. They don't love you. They don't care about you. Just want your money and your profile and to make their status bigger by being around you. Look at this gym here. This is no flash gym, is it? Probably one of the worst gyms you'll ever come in. But it's got the right essentials in here. All you need to make a champion. Because I do things properly. And I don't want all them fake plastic pretenders around me. Because you know that size 12 goes right up their backside. That's what happens when they're around me. Get down that road. What are you bringing to my son's table? If it's not relevant, you're gone. But Tyson's not like that. He just hasn't got that character. But I have. And you need people like me. Somebody's got to point the finger at the bad guy. And Tony Montana said that, didn't he, in the film Scarface? Pointed at me. But I am the bad guy because I'm getting that boot up the backside and down the road. Gone. Because they're not relevant to his job. All they're is getting beat. He needs to work like we're working in here. 1-to-1, select few people around him who we can trust, you know, work and work again and get it all right and shed blood, snot and tears in these gyms. And I don't see him doing that today. I watch him in America doing a minute on the pads and being talked to death afterwards. You know what they'll do? They'll do a minute's work and talk for 2 minutes. You know, and I've witnessed it firsthand and I've thought to myself, you know what? This ain't making sense to me. You know, and he's sort of like lost his bit of movement what he had for my money. You know, he used to be elusive, used to be awkward, coming at you from all different styles. He's gone a bit one-dimensional because what they're trying to do, they're concentrating too much on a knockout. And all of a sudden, what happens to crunk fighters? They either knock their man out or they get knocked out themselves. And that's what I don't want to happen. So I say, look, mix the crunk what you do best, mix the two together. Become a box fighter and do it in intervals. When the timing's right, fight him. And when the timing's wrong, box him. How can you lose that kind of mentality? But if you're in that man's field and you're doing what he does best and your head ain't moving and you're coming in straight lines and you're this, you're that, you're opening yourself up to a knockout, aren't you? And you can't do that with big, dangerous punches like Wilder. I say box his head off. Punch him up for 15 or 20 seconds every round, and if you know you've got him, unload on him. But until you know you've got him, box his head off. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if he had a repeat of the fight he fought last time, I mean, you've got to be happy with that.
I was happy with it, yeah. I was more than happy. But lightning never strikes twice in the same place. What you seen then and what you see now is two different things. Because obviously his team are training to adjust what they did. They're making adjustments so that don't happen again. So we've got to make adjustments. And it's them adjustments I don't see making in America. They could be made, make them. But over in America, no. It's adjustments and timing with boxing. Especially at world level. One mistake, it's over. And Deontay Wilder, if he gets it on you properly, you're in trouble. And we just don't want it to happen.